morning and welcome everyone to Oceans Live, broadcasting from Capitol Hill Ocean Week 2017 at the Ronald Reagan Building in beautiful Washington, D.C. From June 13th through the 15th, marinesanctuary.org/OceansLive will be your one-stop source for every Capitol Hill Ocean Week panel on the latest in ocean policy. And between every session, stay tuned right here for Capitol Hill Ocean Talk. I'm your host, Kate Thompson from NOAA's Office of National Marine Sanctuaries. Capitol Hill Ocean Week officially begins this morning at 10:30 a.m. with a discussion on blue horizons, the future of our ocean, coasts, and Great Lakes. Now, we have an inside look at the organization behind Capitol Hill Ocean Week, the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation, and what's in store for the next 3 days. In the studio this morning, I am joined by Chris Seri, the President and CEO of the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation. In her role as head of the foundation, Chris promotes collaboration that will ensure that the ocean and Great Lakes remain healthy for future generations. I'm also lucky to be joined by Bob Traynor, chair of the foundation's Board of Trustees. Bob serves as senior of counsel at Covington & Burling LLP, where he advises clients on a broad range of corporate and policy matters affecting the pharmaceutical industry. Thank you so much, Chris and Bob, for joining me in the studio today.
Thanks, Kate.
Thank you, Kate.
There is this great buzz out there. It's definitely Capitol Hill Ocean Week, and we're really excited to chat about it and to learn more about what's coming up for the week.
Great. Thank you, Kate.
So, Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you became interested in protecting the ocean and Great Lakes.
I am happy to, but first let me welcome our online audience and thank you so much for participating in Capitol Hill Ocean Week 2017. I am from the great state of Michigan. I know we have a bunch of Midwesterners here. It just goes to show you everybody in the Midwest wants to really be a marine biologist.
Yeah.
And I grew up with the Great Lakes surrounding me. The lakes and rivers, they were my blue backyards. I learned how to water ski in them. I learned how to swim. I went canoeing in them. They were just special places to me, and they instilled in me a love for our environment and wanting to learn about the natural world and really do conservation work with regards to our water. And then at the age of 10, I was lucky enough that my family uprooted and moved to Australia for a year. And I discovered these incredible things called tide pools that you can just spend hours exploring. And I would swim in waters where you had giants just offshore and listen to waves crashing. And I was convinced I was going to be a marine biologist. I fell a little bit short on my childhood dream, but I feel like I'm coming a lot closer, taking over the position of the CEO and president of the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation, and I have Bob to thank for giving me this incredible opportunity. And why I love this job so much is sanctuaries are about communities, and communities really form the heart of the sanctuaries. And for me, when we can engage people in conservation, we're going to have success. And so I get to work with fabulous people, both at the sanctuaries or people who volunteer their time, such as Kevin Powers, who's our Volunteer of the Year this year, to try to conserve these very special places, both for this current generation, but for future generations, for their enjoyment, and to help provide sustainable communities moving forward. So I'm so very excited to be taking on this responsibility and for joining the team at the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation.
Well, Chris, we're really excited to have you. We work so closely together, the foundation and National Marine Sanctuaries, and so it's just it's an awesome way forward. So, Bob, you were part of the group to bring Chris on, and why are you connected to the ocean and Great Lakes?
Well, you know, it all has to do with passion. My beginning was really as a young boy living in Buffalo and Chicago. And in each of those places, the highlight for me was to go to the Great Lakes, to Lake Erie, to Lake Michigan. And it was remarkable because the fact it was with family, friends, it was an opportunity to have fun and to learn about the water. And I would tell you, as I reflect on that, I think to myself, you know, and years later, going back to Chicago area for a wedding about 10 years ago, I went back and there was a portion of a beach that had a skull and crossbones on it and talked about it, which was not swimmable. And I was startled by the fact that this was a portion of an area that I enjoyed as a young kid and now was blocked off while in fact the water was being purified. So that was my beginning, that was my exposure. But as I grew up, we moved to Long Island, and Jones Beach and the oceans were right at my back door. And we took great advantage of those. Later on, I worked as a summer on a steamship, a passenger ship on the Great Lakes. We went from Lake Ontario through Lake Superior. And the thing that struck me about that is I understood that the Great Lakes were truly Great Lakes, that expansive, that the uses that were being made of them for recreation, for commerce, for exploration were just remarkable. So that has been very much a part of my life. And then as I get older, learning to dive, and that became integral to the things I enjoyed most. So I've had the opportunity to dive throughout the world. And one of the things I see is my first dive experience was about 19 when I was in my late 20s. And I just went diving most recently a couple of weeks ago. And I will tell you that I notice it. I notice the difference. I notice the fish are fewer. There's still a great experience to be had. The reefs are not as vibrant and in motion as they had been before. And that is my takeaway from this. And that's part of the reason why I just love being associated with the foundation and to be working with people that really care about these kind of issues.
Well, national marine sanctuaries are across the country, from the Great Lakes, our backyard, all the way from American Samoa to Washington State to Hawaii to Florida. So these are amazing marine protected areas, whether it's for natural or cultural resources. Can you tell us why it's important to protect these underwater treasures?
Yes, number one, I think that it is vital. When we talk about, or when we think about the time that we're living in, and it's just not today, it's been a progression over the last many years, when there's the climate change and the change in the temperatures of the water, when there's the pollution that was very much a part of and apparent in that Great Lakes experience that I had. And there are these things that we can now measure because the fact that we know what it was like before. We have data which shows what it was like before, and we see the effects of uncontrolled problems that are now affecting these waters. So these sanctuaries really serve a multitude of purposes. They provide education for the people that visit the areas where they are, for the communities that surround them, provides the education for everybody there in terms of the value that the water and being on the water can bring. It brings recreational opportunities, it brings commercial opportunities, and it is just remarkable in terms of how important they are. I look at these as really, as I mentioned, as laboratories, as classrooms. And the more people learn about the water, the more they enjoy the water, the more it is that everybody comes to recognize the value and the need to preserve, because it is a generational issue. We have that experience. I mean, I had that experience before either of you. I have grandchildren now, and it's so vitally important that this work continue, and so that other generations can gain access to the same thing that we very much enjoyed. You know, and one of the things that strikes me is we're honoring tonight Roger and Vicki Sand, and for a Lifetime Achievement Award for the work that they have done in support of ocean conservation. And I think they're just great examples of people who recognize the importance of this issue some time ago, made the investment, made the commitment, brought the enthusiasm, and where they are now is something where we need to be, everybody needs to be going forward. So that's my reason for being so passionate about this.
So Chris, we have amazing Capitol Hill Ocean Week out there right now. Can you tell us what we have to look forward to in the next 3 days? What are some of the things you're most excited about?
I'm so happy to talk about that. I'm excited about the whole conference. We have 4 themes this year. First, we wanted to create panels that would talk about their visions for the ocean. We have a track that's dedicated to our land-to-sea connection and how important that tie. Most pollution coming into our oceans is land-based pollution. We're going to look at the new frontier of exploration through science and technology, and how many the ocean is our next frontier for exploration, and really getting to look at what we can do to use technology to learn more about our oceans. And then importantly, we're going to look at conservation from the local to the national level. There are so many wonderful stories and great people doing things at a local or state level that are making a huge difference, both nationally and globally. And we wanted people to share their stories. I'm excited this morning that our opening plenary is a panel of former leaders of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. These are amazing visionaries in their own right. It's Dr. Jane Lubchenco, Dr. Jim Baker, and Vice Admiral Konrad Lautenbacher. And they're going to share with us where they see things are going with our oceans, and where we can actually make a contribution. We're going to end the day hearing the voices of emerging leaders. We recently lost a visionary leader, Margaret Davidson, who could just connect the dots, whether you're talking about policy or you're talking about science or you're talking about sociology. And one of the things Margaret did was found a way to always be a supporter and advocate for emerging voices. And we really wanted to now start having those emerging voices talk to us about how they see conservation, how they see our oceans, and what more we can do. Now, my vision for CHOW is this to be a gathering place where people can enter into dialogues, but more importantly, drive impact for our oceans. So I really want to challenge everybody, both here and online, to think, what can you do personally or in partnership with others to make a difference? Have that dialogue and come back next year and let us know what we've done, where we've had successes, what have our challenges been, and what can we really do differently. You know, Bob said it so well, and it's true even from the oceans that I saw as a child. Our oceans are changing, and they face a number of threats. And it's really now that we have to take action, whether it's addressing a changing climate, whether it's marine pollution, whether it's marine noise. And people can take these actions, so I'm really hoping that coming out of CHOW, we're motivated and we want to see what we can all do to help conserve our oceans and Great Lakes.
Well, Capitol Hill Ocean Week, it looks so exciting for this year. It sounds amazing, and I hope to catch them between coming here and Capitol Hill Ocean Talk. If you're not here to see all the panels as well as all the booths out there, there's a virtual reality booth. You can actually take a virtual live dive out there. Check it out online as well here throughout the week. But you've been talking about communities and the importance of communities and future generations. Well, every year at Capitol Hill Ocean Week, we put out the Earth is Blue magazine, because Earth is blue. And it is celebrating communities this year of the National Marine Sanctuary System. You'll find gorgeous photos and captivating articles from everything from saving a coral reef in American Samoa to the impacts of noise on ocean organisms. Some of the new things also this year in the magazine, based on our evaluations throughout the year last year, was we added a recipe on lionfish, Zacatecus. And I think we're having lionfish at the gala this evening. It's an invasive species. And we also have a really cool pull-out poster this year that you can take out of the magazine, and it's about communities of a shipwreck that our own wonderful Matt McIntosh designed. So we're really excited about the new features that the magazine has this year. If you're not here at Capitol Hill Ocean Week, of which you are, you can pick it up at the registration table and let us know how we're doing with it, with their evaluations. But you can also check it out online at sanctuaries.noaa.gov/magazine, and it'll be coming soon also to a sanctuary visitor center near you across the country. So thank you both for joining me in the studio today. I know you have to run to the next panel, so I don't want to keep you, but I look forward to seeing you throughout the week.
Great. Thanks, Kate.
Thank you very much, Kate.
Sure. I also want to extend a special thank you to our signature sponsors, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, Vulcan Incorporated, and the Walton Family Foundation, and our co-host sponsors, the Campbell Foundation, the Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation, and the Ocean Foundation. Because without their support, the success and accessibility of Capitol Hill Ocean Week would not be possible. Don't forget to join me right here at noon for another episode of Capitol Hill Ocean Talk and a discussion about the health benefits of outdoor and ocean recreation for veterans. Keep it right here at marinesanctuary.org/OceansLIVE to stream everything Ocean Week. Have an amazing day, and thank you for tuning in.